want to know how scary a scene can be when you use sound effectively?
Hey, wanna play hide and clap?
Yeah, so this movie has a lot of hype around it, and that's almost always a bad thing for horror movies.
How dare you!
The reason being is that for a horror movie, the hype is almost always the same. This is the scariest movie of the year. This is the scariest movie of the last 10 years. This is so scary you'll crawl into your grandmother's bed and cry yourself into a coma like a little bitch. And so on and so forth. Here's the thing. It's almost always too much hype. What is the perfect amount of hype? I haven't the foggiest clue, but when I browse Facebook and every fourth post I see is something hyping up a horror movie, it's too much. But in the movie's defense, it doesn't really matter if there is a ton of hype around it or not. The common misconception about the horror community is that we are a united bunch. We are not. Some prefer classic horror movies, some prefer slashers, some think there hasn't been a good horror movie post the year 2000. Some love the so bad it's good. And then there's the I'm gonna think about this movie every time I'm on the toilet or in the shower for the next week. Now, how is Undertone? It's pretty good. Now, is this review late?
Obviously.
But the missus insisted that I do this vid regardless. Remember her?
You shall die!
Right, so my hands are kinda tied. Anyhoozle, I'll go into a few more details with some spoils, but for those who want to dip out right now because they want to go in with fresh eyes and ears, let me just say, if you're not watching this in surround sound at a super high volume, don't bother. It's such a key factor that if you don't see it with a serious, no dicking around speaker setup, it'll bring your experience down like 2 points if you judge movies out of 10. Now, let's get spooky. So Undertone is a very simple story with a minimalistic plot, which I am a big fan of. So even if I wanted to do a deep dive into what goes on scene by scene, this wouldn't be a very long vid, so let me broad stroke it with a few little deets. The movie follows Evie. She is taking care of her terminally ill mother at her mother's place until she passes. Evie is a college-aged girl, hosts a podcast with a friend of hers that's in, I think, England. So once a week, they do a podcast talking about scary stories, creepypastas. She's the skeptic and her friend Justin is the believer, kind of an X-Files kind of pairing. So once a week, or whenever they can, not sure how strict their podcast schedule is, she stays up till 3 a.m. and he gets on right before his morning work time to cover a scary story and decide if it's bullshit or maybe something spooky really happened. Psh, you want something spooky? Check this out. I'm just being silly. Undertone is the name of their podcast, hence the name of the movie. The hosts of the podcast receive an anonymous email with some audio files, and since creepy internet stories are kinda slim pickings these days, they decide to dedicate their next few eps breaking down the files and do a little digging. Meanwhile, all of this is happening, our main character is dealing with her shitty family situation, her shitty situationship, and her shitty habits. She's just drowning in poop. Meanwhile, she gets haunted by a real douchebag of a ghost, so it sucks to suck, kid. The setup for the movie is pretty good. This is very low budget, which is obvious, but it's low budget done well. So I bet the creators are just tearing up Vegas as we speak with the profits.
Like taking candy from a baby.
I like the main character. Admittedly, we don't get to know her super well, but we do get to know enough for a short movie. She's likable. It's hard to not feel bad for her and her situation because it would be tough for anyone to deal with a ghost that haunts you. Oh, and yeah, her mom's dying. That must suck too.
Stop crying, you bitch!
So the spooky stuff in the story revolves around creepy children's songs and how they have dark origins, which I'll admit I have heard of this in the past. and I did like. It's always fun to take children's things and make them dark. Now, obviously that can go terribly wrong.
Better watch where you're going, bitch.
Fuck those movies. Anyways, the scary children's story does have a way in tying into our main character's life, which helps us get a bit of a connection with her, even though we don't really get to know her that much. And that being said, that is a way this movie could have improved, but I think we do get to know her enough to want her to have a happy ending. But, this is horror, so a unhappy ending is just as good and sometimes better than a happy one, so what the fuck am I even rambling about? I honestly don't know at times. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I guess plugging in a subscribe and comment moment would be good, I guess. Who the fuck knows? The last thing I'll say is the ending was super well done. Not perfect, and I'll tell you why in a way that'll make sense to people who have seen it and for those who haven't seen it yet. The last chunk of the film is a tension-building scare, and it pulls you in for minutes. Several minutes.
Yes! Yes, 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 yes! Yes!
And I really felt it in my bones as I watched, but the minutes started to drag because not much was happening, so the movie started to lose me. But then things started to progress, and let me tell you, boys and ghouls, it hooked me right back in. And the last moments of the movie were like a chef's kiss. Yeah, there were some people in the audience who laughed when the credits started to roll, and I kind of get that, but I'm also like,
Get the fuck out of here!
I really liked how the movie ended. Now, some people may not like abrupt endings, but this skeleton in a suit does when they are done well, and I think this was done well. The movie has all the different kinds of scares a horror movie should have, instead of just relying on one kind of scare for the majority of the film. There's the, they're behind you kind of tension building. There's just tension building. There's a jump scare or two that plays obviously with audio a lot. And yeah, it also has some shock and awe. So all of it, all of the scares required to make a horror movie actually scary. And I gotta say, this movie was done on a micro budget, so it already has done super well financially. And even though I'm tardy to the party, be sure to catch it however you can. I hope it'll be a spooky one for you.